There's the house I was born in, yeah, right there. And the barn out behind it.
The hedge across the street.
That was the hedge around
O'Neill's house.
O'Neill's house, yeah. And that's Queen Street. He's
Now
no
there's that
longer
old building where Ed Finnegan's house, that wasn't the house that's there now. There, that one.
there, I don't, okay.
See that?
There
See,
you
that's
go.
altogether different.
Yeah, it is so.
Okay, the house with the chimney.
Yeah.
That's the Jeremiah Pote House. That's one of the original houses that came from Castine. It was built on that particular lot. So that house went up around 1783 and was there until about 1940. And then
That house was a Chinese laundry when I was real little. I remember it vaguely.
Is it? Is that right?
Yeah.
Not a nice house for laundry, wasn't it?
No, I do. I remember seeing the people.
See, you're that much older than I am.
Never mind.
the house that was built in that exact location was built by Ed Finnegan, who was the president of the Quoddy Coal Company, ran the Marina Theatre, and a number of things.
That again is Lawson Spire's father and mother's home. And this is Ed Finnegan's house. That location used to be the Chinese laundry. And once every winter they would have our grandfather over for dinner. And so they would smoke these pipes, apparently, these long, and they'd have Chinese food. Where is
What's
that?
that building? That's a brick building.
Where is it?
Okay, where's
That's a
that?
well set in door.
A set-in door and a window on either side if it's symmetrical.
Do you know, this man on the right looks like the man that we saw in another clip that was out at Stillwater.
That's
Sarah
Sarah
Donahue's
Donahue's house that got moved.
Where Teresa Tedesco now lives.
The house below Jeff's house was the one that was moved around the corner when they built the parking lot for the CVC.
House
And
too.
it was
that's a
it
two-story
was a
house.
two-story house, but had a big veranda.
Scales, I remember them being
Yeah,
up
you
there.
too.
Is that Freddie Burton's mother's up there house? The
Two
old
sisters.
girls,
The
two
two
of
sisters.
them.
Yeah, two sisters.
Sarah Donahue's,
Sarah and Emily.
Sarah
And
and Emily
Emily
Donahu.
Yeah. That'd be at the corner of that river where the China chest is now.
There's the China chest right there, Nancy.
It's a hole.
Yeah. That's the hole in the ground. When was the China
That's
chest built, Nancy?
In the mid-50s,
Yeah.
I think.
I would think so. I remember as a kid I used to
53, 54, I think in there somewhere.
Mort Thurber and I used to go down in the empty basement.
I can remember sliding into the hole, but I don't remember anything there. There was this iron fence around it, I know that. There's the corner of the China
There's
chest
the
there.
China, yeah.
Oh, God,
China
that
chest right
awful
there.
old asphalt siding.
Nancy's father built that. They had half of the hardware store of the China shop when I first remember it.
Yeah, that's where they started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope I've improved the looks of the building a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you remember they used to have the costume jewelry in there made out of fish scales?
Yeah, that's right.
Used to have that all displayed in the
Yeah.
windows. Pretty nice stuff.
It sure was.
It was everything, furniture for everything.
Why did they have this building demolished? What was wrong with it? Does anyone know?
It just, I think that the Eaton's catalog came in and everything.
Doing the street job.
That's Frederick Street.
There's the corner of the China
There's
chest
the
there.
China, yeah. Geez, I didn't realize Frederick Street looked that bad, Nancy. Must be digging that up to pave it or something.
I think they may have been.
I remember Dad telling us that the summer crowds that came from Montreal and all, and the big house at the back, argued violently that they didn't want the village ruined. They wanted, just the dirt streets.
They wanted to keep the dirt street.
Oh yeah, they wanted them dirt roads. And Dad said, you may want them, but you're not here in the spring when we have to walk to our knees in the mud. And that was the end of that.
People came from all over to buy. You could get Oriental rugs in there, even apparently.
But you wonder why they
Well,
dismantle the
why would
building,
they-
though.
why
I
would
mean,
they
why
not-
could they? Nobody was willing to buy it and use it for something else, or
First of all, the family, there were no more Odells to run anything.
Oh, and look at the
it
cars.
was just amazing,
I would
apparently.
say those cars are in the 60s. Early.
First one I had was a 55 Pontiac. First decent one.
So they took that down very carefully.
What a mess.
And that's Aunt Alice's store, and that's where the laundromat is right there now.
Yep.
I knew there was a garage there, and there's Cecil Williams' garage right
Yeah,
there.
there it is.
So that's in the 50s. That's a 55, 54 Plymouth there in the foreground.
Yeah,
That's
that's
already
A.E. O'Neill.
To the
store.
left was our great aunt's had
Alice
Two of
O'Neill.
them.
two of them had
Annie
a
and
millinery
Alice.
store.
O'Neill.
That's Miss O'Neill's across the street, the
Yeah.
store, and that was Bob Simpson's grocery store.
That is the front of Archie Shirley. The Odell store burned in 1930, and they moved into where Stinson's was, which was the Archie Shirley building, which became the Stinson building.
The building we're looking at right now is gone, so there's just a vacant space there today. I call that store the Shirley store. On the left is Fundy Bay Realty, that building on the left. To the right of it would be Harborfront Restaurant. And then to the left of Fundy Bay Realty, again, there's a gap. And then that's where the Odell store was, the one that you just showed us being torn down.
Yeah.
There's a brand theater.
There's a theater with what? Ed Finnegan run that, didn't he?
Yeah, and Bell O'Neill.
Did Uncle Willie at one
I've heard that he and Mr. Finnegan
Now
both
that's Aunt
owned it
Alice's
together.
store.
This door that we're looking at right now, that's where the second Bank of New Brunswick was located. That was robbed. This is the street building that we're looking at, and the street building today is Harborfront Restaurant. But that's the Quaddy Coal building, run by Ed Finnegan.
In my lifetime, yes, Ed Finnegan had the coal business in town. Ed Finnegan lived up on Queen Street, where Tony Bastow and Sheila live now. And he had an appliance store in there, but he also had a shed at the back of that building that he kept coal in. Because as a kid, I remember going down and we played on the waterfront. These buildings that were built out over the water had little platforms around them. And shoot, we were 4 and 5 and 6 years old, and where did we play? We played down by the water.
Yeah.
And that's where the expression, we were down back of Shirley's.